And so I think that's going to be a great complementary to Swift. I think it'd be a great add-in to our offense. I'm excited to see what type of offense we'll be running here. Yeah.
I think we have to repeat everything that we just said, as a matter of fact, because it sounds like, at least on the Facebook side, that we lost sound, but we're back now. I apologize for that. I'm going to reiterate, I have no problem saying it. I like this signing. I like what he brings to the table. I think it's a perfect complement for what DeAndre Swift and his skill set is. I think this is a perfect compliment. I think he's more of a run downhill guy, but he's known as a good blocker. He can get involved in the passing game. It's interesting now because right now, I know a lot of people are kind of thinking of Kerryon as an afterthought and everything, and I don't necessarily agree with that. I think that's a damn good trio to have. Now, he's probably the smaller side of that trio, make no mistake about it. But
I think it'll be something similar to how it was, and sad to say, it'll be something similar to 2014 when we had the three-headed monster. And it wasn't 14, I'm sorry, 13, when we had the three-headed monster. Like, who were they, Sean?
There was Joique Bell.
Okay.
There was Reggie Bush.
Okay.
And there was, why can't I think of his name, the receiver who caught all the balls?
You saw Theo Riddick?
Theo Riddick.
No.
No, who was it?
No, it wasn't the three-headed monster with Theo Riddick. The three-headed monster was with me, Reggie Bush, Mikael Ashore.
Oh, yeah, Mikael.
We were the three. And Mikael never saw the field. It was me and Reggie. And throughout the season, he just kind of fell into the background. Sad to say because he was a great talent, but eventually the offense it wasn't a fit for him anymore. It wasn't a fit. So I would hate for something like that to happen to Kerryon, where you bring in another running back with Swift, who is arguably the best running back we have right now, and you have another guy coming in that is also a really good running back who's going to complement Swift. And so you look at it and say, where does Kerryon fit? How can they use him? What can he do that the other two best can't do? All right.
May I? I just had a quick question.
I wanted to go back and rebuttal what I said earlier, though.
Oh, well,
because we lost sound, so they didn't hear what I was saying.
Oh, yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
So really quick, you bring in a guy who had 500 rushing yards, averaged 4.2 yards a carry, signed a $7.5 million deal here. I think it's a great add-on for us. And like you said, I would like to see him used more in the passing game than what he was used in the passing game in Green Bay. I think he brings a lot of – one thing I like about him is that he's a downhill runner, like you said, and he makes these shallow cuts. It's not too much dancing. It's one cut and go. It reminds me a lot of – like Reggie was a dancer, but he was able to break away. He had the speed. Jamaal doesn't have Reggie's speed, but he does have good speed. Right? He does have good, decent speed, and so he does what works best for him. And for him, it would be those shallow cuts and getting downhill quick.
Hi, Art.
And really quick before Art gets started, go ahead, Art. Put the camera on you, Art. If you can put the camera on you.
I just had a quick thing to say. Is the deal a little bit more satisfying since it's someone from Green Bay, since that's our rival? Does that add any?
I think that yeah. I mean, yeah. I don't think, when you can get a quality player out of your own division, absolutely. I mean, they've made some signings in the past that we thought would be great fits here out of the division that didn't work. I think this is one that'll work, and I'm intrigued, Joique, because I don't know the answer to the quandary that you brought up. Is this going to be more like Kerryon is just an extra body, or are they going to make it a legitimate three-headed monster? I don't know the answer to that. I think the NFL is, even in that short amount of time that you go back to, I think the NFL has changed in the regard that you are seeing more of 1A, 1B, and then 3, but 3 is part of it. Is he going to play a 3 where he's just a small part of it, or is it cut in thirds or something? I don't know, but it's I like a guy that can do a little bit of everything. He's not going to wow you. He's not. This isn't going to be a Reggie Bush. This isn't going to be a DeAndre Swift. This isn't going to be a Barry Sanders. It isn't going to be a Billy Sims. This is a guy that can do a little bit of everything well. And especially today in the pass happy league, and I'm going to say it again, if you're still one of those people out there that think it's 3 yard in a cloud of dust, you got to move well into the 21st century now. Yeah. I like a guy that can help you out in all three facets of that game.
And I like a guy that is available. He's available.
Yep.
He's missed 4 games in the last 2 years, 2 games a year, but he's still out there on the field. He's still helping his team win. And so I like that about him, because you can only help your team when you're available. And that's the biggest part about the NFL. It's 100% injury rate. So what are you doing off the field to make sure your body is in tip-top condition in order to be a part of the team, a part of a victory, a part of this franchise, and making us better? What can you do? And he's proven that.
Eric said Jahvid Best was potentially the best. I'm not going to argue with that. You know, the interesting thing about Jahvid Best is he was never going to be the man either. I mean, it just wasn't going to happen. You were going to bring in a guy like Joique Bell to complement a Jahvid Best. You were going to, especially when you're that small in the league, you don't see a lot of guys like that are the water carrier. You know, they're part of it. They do carry the water, but they're not carrying the water exclusively. You know, when you're of that stature. Yeah,
you can't be the bell cow at that size in a league when you're going up and you're taking on hits from guys that has you about 40, 50 pounds to 70, 80 pounds. You can't take every carry. You need a guy like me to come in to be the big bruiser, and then you need the lightning, like with a Joique Bell or Reggie Bush. I think that's the best compliment. Now, sometimes you get this talent like a Derrick Henry, where you have the thunder and lightning in one guy. He's just a freak. He's just a freak, and that doesn't come around too often. What was the last guy like that had that type of speed and that size? 255 pounds. How tall is he? 6'2", 6'3", and just flat out fly. He's outrunning DBs that are 185 pounds, 190 pounds at 255. When was the last time we had a talent like that in the NFL at running back? I can't think of it. I mean, can you think of anybody recent?
I mean, Derrick Henry would be the closest thing, right?
Derrick Henry would be the only thing.
Yeah. Gosh, I miss those guys though. Like I grew up in that area, like probably a little bit, but Natron Means. I mean, just running people over. I mean, he had bad intentions when he ran at you. Like and again, their shelf life is so small. You cannot keep getting into car crashes
like that.
You can't. I mean, you're not going to play a long time when you're constantly just.
One thing I learned when I played, and coaches and like coaches who cared about you, and then also players who's been in the league for a long time, they would tell me, know when to go down, know when to stop fighting. And for me, early on in my career, I didn't know how to stop fighting. I would always want to get that extra yard or two. For instance, Chicago Bears 2012, I dove from the 4-yard line, tried to jump over the pile.
I remember.
It got to the 1-yard line and probably about 2 inches away and took a major hit. Who hit me?
I don't remember who hit you, but I remember the ball coming out.
Urlacher.
Oh, was it Urlacher?
Yeah, Urlacher.
He's pretty good.
Yeah. He was okay. He was pretty decent. He came and caught me midair, hit me. I fumbled the ball right there. The one, you know who really hyped me up? It was Stafford. He hyped me up. He came back to the huddle, and before he even called the play, he looked at me and excuse my leg. He said, "Man, get in the fucking end zone right now!" Like I'm like, hell yeah, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. Give me the ball. And so he really hyped me up. So I was really ready to go. So he calls the play. It was a dive right up the middle, and we had a little penetration. So I had to go. I had to just jump over the top, and so I did. And I thought it was like the Space Jam movie when they caught Michael Jordan at half court, and he kind of stretched that. I can fly. We're not gonna sing that song on this show, but we're gonna. I kept reaching for the end zone, and I thought I was gonna extend this arm, and all of a sudden, Urlacher came from the side, knocked the ball out. It blew me up, and I had to try to jump on the ball and couldn't do it, and We ended up losing the ball right there, and I felt like trash. All right, I felt like trash. But and we ended up losing that game too, and I felt terrible. I'm like, man, I know they're gonna let me go next year. But I made up for it throughout the season. So it was. I will never forget that moment. I'll never forget. And that's one thing I learned, right? That's one thing I learned.
A lot of losses for the Lions. We still haven't figured out where Kenny Galladay's going to go, but we know he's going to go. I hate seeing Marvin go. A big Marvin Jones fan. I mean, you knew it was happening, but you hate it just the same. We'll talk about that. We also have to get into the Lions giving up a mere 7th rounder for Brockers as well. So listen, I mean, this is a rebuild. I hope, it seems like most of you know that. And you know what? I like getting parts that can help you out. I mean, there's no doubt about it. There's a lot of work to do, though.